When you sit down and you're watching YouTube, some things come up on YouTube and it sparks something off, and it's like when I can't still believe it even today. The day that I pulled up outside my place, yeah, in my Laredo Jeep, yeah, and I go into my house to see my boy, and I'm greeted by the dogs, the two dogs in the garden, and I think it was Donut or Mowgli at the top of the stairs. I can't remember, it's quite a long time ago, even though the dog got shot. It was Mowgli, I think, yeah. And it's sort of like, it does you in when you think about it. To think that I'd walked up the stairs to see my son, the other dogs were in the garden to the right, by the pool there, and they walk up the stairs, and my son's there to greet me, all cuddles dad, and he's asking me for money for fags. Yeah, and yet, yeah, seriously, yet he knows. He's such a lovely boy, man. He knows where my money was kept, and he never touched a penny. I love my son for that. Wait until dad come home and ask his dad for money to go and get some fags. Well, I said I'll go over the road and get them for him because he's too young to smoke. That's more likely. That's more likely why he never took the money. But to go from there over to Kingston Shopping Centre, gone, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and to come back and to see your motor, my Jeep, at that time I just thought it was a puncher. And then when I got closer to it, you see the windscreen's all done and all that being shot at you. And you think, oh, hold up. And then it all hits you, yeah? And you run through the doors, you run up the little walkway, you run up there as quick as possible. You get to the stairs, there's no dogs to greet you, the other two are going mad. There's no dog to greet you. Until you get to the top of the stairs, you look and there's blood everywhere, yeah? And mate, don't forget, my son's in the house, yeah? And and you're looking around and there's windows, glass windows to all the kitchen units have been shot at, and everything like that, and you're thinking, my son. And I run upstairs to my boy, followed the blood, and the blood stopped by this spiral staircase. And I wonder what I was shouting at my son. I run upstairs and he's saying, Dad, get out, Dad, get out, they're going to kill you, yeah? He's more worried about me than he is himself, yeah? And yet he's in a place that's quite safe. But if they could have let a few bullets go where my son was, you don't know if they'd have hit him. And I might never know he was there, But he's shouting out, I said, come out, And he come out, whoever it was had gone. They'd gone very quick, yeah? And, I cuddled my boy. My boy was like a big boy, he's a big boy. I cuddled him. And he said, Dad, it's so-and-so, I know it's so-and-so. I said, look, be more sure, you can't just point anyway. He said, I know who it is, Dad, I know who it is, yeah? So we come down the stairs and I could hear my dog, yeah? I could hear my big dog making a noise. And I looked over and there he was, I think, or she was. I can't really remember, It's a bit gets hold of me, yeah? And I think it was definitely him that was there. And he's saved my son's life, yeah? Because he attacked the people who come up the stairs and they shot him, yeah? And he must have still been there and they shot him again. Twice I think it's twice through the chest. I'm not quite sure. Once through the chest, once through the side. And he was there and he was murmuring. And then I could hear, come out, all that shouting going. And I thought it was these people, yeah? So I went to get something and it was old Bill. So in a way, I was lucky that I couldn't get to where something was. So, they was there, oh, I'm pleased, get on the floor and all that kind of thing. I said, listen, it's my house, I just come back and they come in my house and shot my house up, And oh yeah, get out of there, and all that crap, you know, all that. I ain't going to get on the floor for no one, you know. And they turn round. I went, hey, listen, I ain't doing all that shit. This is my place, mate. You know, come back and my house has been shut up. I said, my dog's upstairs. I said, my dog's beyond the settee, but she's been shot, you know. Or I can't even remember, you know. It might have been Donut, I don't know. You know, anyway. And when we went up there, they're looking everywhere in my place. They're looking everywhere. They're looking in the place where my boy was hiding, in my little cubby-o, going in there. Look, I've got a safe in there. They're looking everywhere, thinking there could be guns or whatever. There could be money or whatever, yeah. But what they don't realise, I'll come in with a big bag, yeah, and I'll put it on the side of the kitchen unit, and in there is a lot of money that I've come back from my caravan to pay some people, yeah. So they haven't even looked in that bag. It's crazy, you know. They never even looked in it. It's mad. And they're looking everywhere else, yeah. Cupboards, things. They're never even once did they look at that bag. If they looked at that bag, then, you know, obviously they confiscated it, then that'd be murder trying to get it back. But they didn't, yeah. And then they come back and said, look, we've got to take the dog. I said, we've got to take the dog to the vets, yeah. So I went upstairs, got a sheet off the bed, put the dog on it, and we dragged the dog down the stairs. Well, not dragged to pick the thing up, dragged it along, and then put it in the back of the van, police van, and then took it to the vets, yeah. And they said, look, you know, there's nothing you can do for her. It was a short, it's a small caliber bullet, and it's gone all around her body. You know, and it's 2 bullets, and you've got all different holes. It's crazy, man. And they said, you've got to put her down, and she's in a lot of pain, yeah? So I said, look, you've got to do what you've got to do. And she's wagging the towel, you know, I went down and talked to her, and she's licking me, and you got to, you know, and then they had to put her asleep. It killed me, man. And when I went back, they've got all my drawers out, everything out. Oh, it's crazy, but I'm not joking when I say this, yeah? They never touched that bag. If they did, they left it. They just didn't give a fuck about that. They were looking at guns or whatever they're looking for, yeah? 1 minute, yeah? So, they then said, took a statement from my son. My son can't, what can my son say? You know, I said, you know, don't say you think, you know, it is, yeah, because it caused more problems, yeah. And so anyway, he just, you know, he said he was standing in the kitchen. He said the dog started to jump up and down, what she does, before she shoots down the stairs and has whoever comes up the stairs. And he said there was 2 shots, bang, bang. He said, Dad, and I run, yeah. So I see who it was, anyway. And then they shot the kitchen up, looking for whatever they was doing, just shot it up. And then the police were going inside, what's going on, I said, I don't know. I've just come back from the caravan and all that. It's caused more problems. They want to see the caravan. Oh, sometimes it's better not to say nothing at all. Anyway, they phoned up whoever it is, over Chichester that way, went to Church Farm where my caravan was, and they turned it upside down. Luckily the money wasn't in there. Turned it upside down. There's no guns in there or nothing, because they're now looking for guns, yeah? So they go outside, and they've got old Bill there by my Jeep, and they're looking under the Jeep, and they're looking, and all of a sudden they look under a car. I think it was a car or a van, big van, I'm not quite sure what it was, yeah? And they looked under it, and they found 2 handguns. They found, I think it was a little two caliber little gun, yeah, and a big clip one, which was, I don't know what it was, but it was big. It was a big gun, and I suppose the one, because the automatics they usually block it. You can they usually but they block, you know, they get stuck and all that game. And if you're going to come, if you come to kill someone, and you fire it and nothing happens, you're in trouble, aren't you? So they also had the revolver, which was a 2-2. Not a lovely little gun, mate. So that was the gun they was going to do me with. They was going to finish me off with that, yeah. So I was lucky that I wasn't there, but more lucky that my son, being a bit clever, he ran up the stairs and hid in that cubbyhole, yeah. And when they went, the police, I had to go back there, you know, make statements and where I've been and the caravan, had to sign papers, there's nothing in the caravan and all. It all got worse at my house, but they never took the bag with the money. I couldn't believe it, you know, and they never looked really under the cupboards, under the units, because under the units is where I was to keep my bits and pieces. I had the units underneath with magnets on, so you put the money in there or whatever in there and just crash it in, and you've got magnets and it can't, you know, anyway. But obviously it must be so good when the guy done my kitchen, who made it, that, you know, maybe they, you know, tried and nothing happened. So anyway, that was done, and you know, my boy, I said, look, you know, you've got to go home. You know what I mean? You've got to go home. I don't want you to stay. You're not staying here, just in case they come back or whatever. You know they're not going to come back. Well, you don't know that, do you? But I said, you're going to go home. I got my boy a cab. And I phoned his mum up. She came and picked him up. I'm not quite sure what happened. But I think I got in the cab. He got a cab home. Or I took him home. I can't remember really. And it was a shock, you know. And when I come back to the place, and I locked it all up, and the two dogs downstairs, my bulldog and the other big bull mastiff, it was the bitch who got killed. The other big bull mastiff, he's massive. He'd been in the house. They could have shot him 3 or 4 times and they was in trouble with him, mate. And the bulldog, he was mad. He was nutty as a fruitcake too. And I should have let the 3 in the house, but they're always fighting. They're fighting with the other bitch. She fights. You know, that's why. And, you know, anyway, when I let the dogs in the house, shut it all up, locked all the back doors and the gates. I've got massive gates. Downstairs got gates all over my windows. Everything got gates, big metal iron gates, yeah? Big ones, chunky ones, yeah? So it makes it worse when they're looking around, don't they? You know, thinking there's gates everywhere, yeah? You know, everywhere in that place there's gates. So they, you know, they're thinking, what is all this about, you know? And they're looking everywhere and they're not finding anything because they can't find it because it's somewhere that I can't get it sometimes because it's hard work to get, you know. Anyway, they didn't find nothing. So, you know, the money was still there. I was just, and after that, you know, after that things happen, don't they, you know. You suspect people, you know, went round someone's house and see him and no, it wasn't him. He says he wasn't around. But then I find out it could be him anyway. You know, it's all, that comes out later on, you know, what's happened. Is it him, is it ain't? You know, why was it? Could it be because of that? Could it be because of this? And then you go and hurt people. You know, I chopped a guy's arm off in a way, but he pulled a thing out of me. But, you know, I had a big machete and I really thought it was something to do with him. You know, it was an Indian, yeah? You know, and he tried to kill me, mate. He tried to shoot me, and I was defending myself, yeah? Yeah, you know, something wasn't right. And that was my life, you know. My life was mad 24/7. You know, it was Danny's dad, Danny's mum, you know, guys that knows the old man, dangerous people, Bindon. You know, I was lucky that Jimmy Moody wasn't around. I'm not quite sure if Jimmy Moody had been nicked or he was somewhere else or he was dead. But if Jimmy Moody had been around at that time, because the old man worked with Jimmy Moody up north, you know, when they was doing all the mines, the money up there, you know. He worked with Moody, so if Moody had been alive, with other people that was around with the old man, I'd have been in serious shit. I'd have been in serious shit, without a shadow of doubt. The old man didn't like me. He liked me because I looked after him. I give him everything that he wanted. But that'd be another story, yeah. Yeah, I was a bit sick when my dog, she or he, I can't remember. They shot my dog, killed my dog, and that's it. And what the funny things that happened right after that, one of my dogs, the bull mastiff, the big one, had a tooth that come out on the lip, yeah. So it looked really aggressive, yeah, and could really have a fight. Crazy, big thing. And because I was leaving where I was going and all this, that and the other, the arguments and fights and things, I give the dog away to a guy called Barry Atkins and Roy Atkins. It used to be called the Atkinson twins from Axon, yeah? Bad. And I think it was Roy Atkins, I'll give Barry, I'll give my dog to Barry. He had a big farm, and a year later, I drove round there to ask him for something, yeah? I drove in there and I said, where is she? And it was Donut, yeah? That's right, Donut it was. Yeah, it must have been Felix had got shot. And that was a boy. So I get all confused, names. Mogi was the bulldog. Anyway, he said she runs off way. She just goes in the woods and she stays there by herself. She doesn't really, do anything. She comes over, drinks water, has a bit of food, then she runs away. And do you know what? And I was talking to Barry, yeah? Just talking normal. And she come running over like a nutcase. I thought she was going to attack me because she's really, really vicious, yeah? Tooth up here like that. And I know boy, dog, you get mixed up, but it was Donut, man. And, mate, I bent down and she come over to me and to lick my face, but her tooth comes out of the head and she cut my face, yeah, with her tooth. And she was licking me and crying. And it gutted me, man. I felt sick, and I thought that's why she maybe runs away, because she wants to be round, because I loved her, mate, And I couldn't take her because I was in his flat, and anyway. And I said, look, I was stroking her, she was crying, and he'd had her quite a long time, a year. And we went back in the car, and then I got home, and I phoned Barry about what I wanted. He said, mate, do you know Donut follows you, mate? She follows you, mate. I said, you're joking. And this place is a mile away, Am Lampstead, over that way. And I was living in Chiswick at that time. I went, you're crazy. He said, she followed you, mate. She ran after you. Mate, it gutted me. I couldn't believe it, So I come back all round the ways trying to find her, Mate, it's a shock. I lost two dogs, you know what I mean? I lost, Felix and Donut. She mustn't, I don't know what happened to her, picked some stop, maybe, who would want her, you know what I mean? Because she looked menacing, and she was menacing. She loved to fight, and whoever, so no one's going to want her, so they're going to put her down or whatever. It's like guts you know what I mean? Mate, and that really slaughtered me, when the house got shot up and all that, and my boy, and all that, and people like, this other silly guy that got took off YouTube, and all other people that talk about it. I had no idea what they're talking about, you know what I mean? What's gone on in my life? My life's been crazy, man. I've got stories coming out my backside. This one is in my book, but yeah, crazy, man. Crazy stories. Bang, bang, roll. Nice one.